Hey everyone, it is great to be with you on January the 25th, Read Through the Word. And we are taking a look here in Eliphaz's third response to Job today. And there are some really good practical counsel here. As I said in one of the earlier teachings when we got, I think we were in Job. I'm not for sure if it was Job, it may have been another lesson, but we talked about how important it is to receive, how to receive this constructive type talk. And this gets to the point where it's not constructive anymore. It's actually kind of cruel. But regardless, of how the information gets to us, that we need to look at it and say, is there anything? This is so hurtful. I mean, he's very honest. It's very hurtful. And it is very hurtful. Some of these things I would not want my best friend to say to me. But of course, my best friend wouldn't talk to me that way. But anyways, we have to look at what's being said to us through a lens of God. And sometimes God brings truth to us in harsh ways from people that don't love us, that people that are just feeling like they need to share their opinion of something with us. And so we have to put the ears of discernment on with that, and we have to go to God with our hurt. We have to go to God with our pain. We have to go to God with the words and say, what is it in here that I can take away? What's my takeaway from this, God? And I believe that's what we're doing here with the whole book of Job is what is our takeaway? What is our takeaway here, God? And they're tucked here in chapter 22 are some really, really great points on how to settle up and be right with God. I'm sure that they popped out to you in verses 21, 22, 23. About submitting to God, listen to instruction, storm in your heart, return to God. I know that those popped out to you, especially those have been with Read Through the Word for any length of time. We are really learning how to just notice those 1, 2, 3 steps that just jump out at us. And the more you read God's Word, and the more that you invest in studying it, not just reading it, but the more you invest in studying it, you're going to be able to pull out these points. They'll just pop out at you like these did. But I didn't want to go over those points because they're not really hard to understand on what to do. But at the end of that section there, verse 25, the Almighty himself will be your treasure. Oh, wow, that is so good. He will be your precious silver. Wow. He says already earlier in verse 24, if you give up your lust for money and throw your precious gold into the river, he will be your precious silver. Wow, that's so good. But then we have the word then. When the Almighty is our treasure, then this happens. Then we can take delight in the Almighty. Then we can look up to God. We're no longer looking down. We're looking up towards God. We can pray to him. He hears us. There will be success in our life, and we will have light for our road. In other words, I thought of he will delight yourself in the Lord, and he will make your path straight, right? Or no, that's two different ones. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. But he will be the light for your road. He will lead and guide and direct you, right? Who doesn't want that? But we can't have that beautiful picture and these beautiful things. We can't have the then without what comes before it. And that is the submitting and the returning and the listening to God. And then he will be our treasure. Then he will be our treasure. I found this great piece by Charles Spurgeon, who is a very, very old theologian. Well, old. He's real old. He's no longer living. And some of his work can be hard to understand because he's from a different day and a different period, but very, very spot on theologically. And I just had to include this. And I don't often just pull something from somebody and put it in our lesson, but it was so beautiful and so applicable. I wanted to share it. It means to have joy in God. This phrase, delight in the Almighty. This is what it means. It means to have joy in God. When a man hangs his head down, he's unhappy, the attitude of misery. But oh, when our thoughts are of God, or when our thoughts of God are changed. And they're changed when we submit and we return to Him. Our thoughts of God change. We lift our faces and our countenance changes. And then it says it means to put our guilt away. We're no longer hanging our heads down. We understand the atoning sacrifice and the power that comes with that. So we are delighting in the Almighty. This is what that means. It means to be free from fear. We don't have to cover our face anymore. We don't have to hide. And it means to have expectation. It means to lift up our face to Him and expect to see Him. Delighting in the Almighty. And we can't delight in Him. He can't be our treasure. He cannot be our precious silver without the aforementioned. And we have to make sure we get that right. Because there is no greater joy, there is no greater delight than to delight in the Almighty. And I get it wrong a lot. I really do. I get it wrong a lot, but and I get it right. Oh, it truly is. You're warm from the inside out. And it's not menopause, ladies. You're warm from the inside out. It is the delight of the Almighty. And I like to think of it as me delighting in the Almighty, but I like to think of it as the Almighty delighting in me. Because He finally has a daughter who is surrendering her wants, her needs, her whims, and her wishes to Him. He finally has a daughter who gets what it's like to be the precious, for Him to be the precious silver in her life. And she's no longer chasing the lusts of the world, but she's putting everything she has into a relationship with Him. So why would He not delight in a daughter or a son that was delighting in Him? We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.